Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and I'm holding this one so it doesn't glare too much. But this is the Marco Tsourkan AEB-L Sujihiki or Suji 260mm left-handed version. So Mark sent me a couple of lefty versions, which I very much appreciate, being a lefty myself. The steel is AEB-L full stainless steel, which is an excellent fine-grained, easy to sharpen stainless steel that takes an edge pretty much like a carbon steel would. But you've got great stain resistance as well, so it's an excellent stainless steel. The construction is mono steel. It's just one piece of steel that's laser cut and then ground to shape and finished. The heat treat is not specified, but typically AEB-L is taken to around 60-61. Rockwell is normally where the sweet spot is for that, so I would suspect that's where this is. I'm not 100% sure on the Guto I just did. It was differentially hardened, which means it's harder at the spine, the final hardness, or excuse me, harder at the edge, and then softer at the spine for resiliency and support. I'm not 100% sure if these are as well. Mark can maybe put that on the site if he gets that information. I know the Guto was, so I suspect these might be as well, but don't quote me on that. So we'll see if we can get that up on the site. The weight and dimensions are going to vary a little bit from knife to knife. I'm going to put this on this side, doesn't quite reflect so much. So this is about 181 grams or 6.4 ounces with this handle. That can vary a little bit based on handle material. The edge length is 263 millimeters or about 10.35 inches. And the overall length on this is about 16.9, almost 17 inches or 430 millimeters. Spine thickness, it's got a great taper to it. So it starts out about 3 millimeters above the back of the heel here, the chin, and then I measured about 2.3 millimeters halfway down, and about 1.5 inches from the end I measured about 1.3. So look at that taper on this. It's a beautiful distal taper that comes down to a really thin tip on this thing. Look how thin that tip is. The height is about 39.1, so it's got some pretty good height on it at the heel, and so you got some good clearance there if you want to use it on the board. Handle is exceptionally well crafted. It just does beautiful. Marco does great handles, and so this one is made out of it's also a D-shaped and a lefty orientation, and it's made out of stabilized buckeye burl, and it's just cool. This has so much figure in it. It's a super interesting piece of wood. And then the spacer is corian, and then the ferrule is what's known as ebonite. So it kind of simulates a black buffalo horn kind of material. Beautifully crafted. Marco has particular philosophy about how he likes to hold the knife and his philosophy on finishing the shape. So we've got the D shape for the lefty to kind of hold in the crook of where your fingers are, and same with his right hand handles, it's right hand oriented. And then he's got these flats that go down towards the blade on either side at the ferrule to kind of thin it out. As he showed me at the knife Meet the Blacksmiths event in Chicago this summer, he likes, if I remember correctly, he holds the blade kind of like this, with his finger on the spine, so he tends to like to have his thumb there or in this area, so that kind of floats in there for him, and that's the reasoning behind his design, and it actually really works well. So it's a nice comfortable grip for that, or even if you just want to do traditional grip, it kind of disappears in your hand. And again, this D-shaped section on the left side of the blade kind of locks it in, especially if you're doing this, it locks it into your hand. So it's a really well thought out design and just beautifully made. Circumference on that handle is about 72 millimeters right before you hit where the facets start going down in towards the front of the handle. So it's about the size of it. And let's see, let's flip this over here. It's a long blade, but get our beauty shot. So there's our beauty shot on these. Marco does a great job on fit and finish. These have some embossed work on the left side of the blade that gives you the information you need there. You've got a really well done longitudinal or brushed finish on it. The great thing about that finish is it will help hide scratches as you tend to clean and wipe the knife dry. You're wiping with the blade, of course, typically, so scratches occur this direction mostly, and so that'll help hide those. But it's beautifully crafted. I'm trying not to get fingerprints all over it. The spine is highly polished and rounded, so very, very comfortable. Nice job on that. and extra work on the choil as well, right here. There we go, camera. So it's polished and rounded on both sides, so super comfortable blade. Out of the box edge, I'm just going to give it a 4 out of 10. I think his philosophy probably just, I didn't know particularly, but I feel like his philosophy is you're going to want to sharpen the blade when you get it. So he just kind of put a quick edge on it, nothing real fancy, but you'll definitely probably want to put your own edge on this out of the box because it'll get super sharp. AEB-L is a great steel. It will get, they use it for razor blades, so it'll get exceedingly sharp if you do your part. Let's see, balance point, as you might suspect, is going to be a little further back just because the blade's light. Got a lot of taper to it. There's your balance point. Let's go ahead and look at the edge profile. Some people do use Sujihikis on the board for some work, for some utility work. So here's what the profile looks like. It flows into a pretty kind of hard stop at the heel, but there's a lot of flat section on the back of it. And I definitely pop in a stop there at the heel. And then you can see you could do a little bit of rocking with this. So depending on how you like to use the Suji, some people use it for multiple purposes. But these are beautifully crafted. It's nice having a left-hand oriented design and handle that is available. So again, of course, these are available in right-handed versions as well. But Marco's fit and finish is great. The design of the blade is nice. The taper's excellent. The grinds are great. The handle's beautiful. Excellent craftsmanship all the way around. Unique style on the design flowing into the front of the ferrule on there. So just a great all-around package. These are just really, really well done. So I'm going to hold this here for the reflection, but this is the Marco Tsourkan AEB-L Sujihiki 260mm left-handed knife.